Good afternoon, and it's time to do some Mercedes W124 maintenance, or in this case change the battery, because I've been to it the last couple of days and it's been getting slower and slower. Let me demonstrate. That'll be a no. So what we're going to do is change the battery, but the best way to do it, I think, is outside so we can see a lot more. Plus it's a bit cramped up there, so what I'm going to do is put the old battery on charge with a trickle charger. We used to have a feed out to the garage, but an apple tree fell on it and basically ripped it out of both ends of the consumer unit. Saying that, the wire did actually hold the full weight of an apple tree. It's just a simple trickle charger, and I'm going to leave it on for about 12 hours, and then it should give me enough power to just reverse the car out. And then we'll do a full change of the battery tomorrow and clean up the area too. Now I do have a booster pack, but because we changed the OVP relay, which is the over voltage protection, we're a bit wary using this when it's so flat. So the best bet is to just trickle charge the battery. Positive on the inside and negative on the outside. These aren't the biggest crocodile clips, so you literally have to just put it on the bolt. But I've tested it and it works fine. You'll see there's two lights on it. And then this will go green when it's full. We'll come back and check it in the morning. Now we didn't know where to get our battery online. We looked at the usual suspects, ECP, GSF, that kind of thing. But we actually came across another one called Battery Megastore, and they deliver the battery the next working day. Decent strong box, well packaged as well, and specific for a 2.3 4-cylinder Mercedes. This is a transportation bung. You have to remove this before you install on the car, and that's the second one removed. So you've got your terminals under here, and these just lift off. We've gone for a Varta, and it's a silver as well, so you've got all the details here: 12 volts, 61 amps and 600A, and this number gives it oomph, so it basically makes the car start easier. It's also something to do with temperature as well. Now it's quite interesting because the battery that's on it was installed when the car was restored, so I'm wondering what's happened there. Maybe it was a bad battery, or it's just depleted over time. So it'll be interesting to see how long this Varta lasts. Now I was thinking over Christmas, why don't we just use the Golf GTI battery? But I didn't realise the difference in size, ampage, and also the A number. They're both 12 volts, but this one is 40 amps, and this one is 61. Now that's quite a difference, especially when starting the car. Also this is 600A, and this is 440A. So the likelihood is, it may have run it, but it would have been a lot of stress on the battery. So the best thing is to get the one. But bear in mind the Golf GTI is 1.8 and the Mercedes is 2.3. Well, welcome back. And as you can see, it's now snowing. So yet another challenge. It's the odd flake though, so it's not like where it is at, say, Jamie Pickles, where it's like a sheet of snow. So that's good news. I've already opened the garage and I charged the battery for about probably 8 hours. So let's go and see if she starts. Now we don't normally ask for likes and follows and so on, but the way that the last year has been, it's been a bit challenging. So if you could like the video, share it to anybody that's got a W124 C124 and needs advice on changing things like batteries or any kind of maintenance. It really helps the channel. Also rest assured, when this madness changes, we will be back to reviewing cars. We should have had an MG HS hybrid today, but MG pulled it literally about 2 days ago. But it makes perfect sense. Everybody has to stay safe. But yeah, thank you. Give us a like, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell as well. That way you'll be notified every time we put a video out. Thank you. Yay! Well, that was far easier with the gearbox shift light. Could actually see to put it in reverse. Now it may have sounded fine, that battery, but I think I need to face that it literally will last for about 2 or 3 days, and that's if I start it each day. To pop the bonnet on a C124, you basically pull a red, or orange in this case because it's faded, on the passenger side, then just lift the bonnet ever so slightly and this tongue will stick out, and then you just pull. Now yeah, it doesn't look like it's open very far, so that's why Mercedes have a maintenance mode on their bonnets. And pull the bonnet forward at the same time, and then couple to about there. Now that should sit there. Then we do the same on the other side. And then it will lift, which makes it a lot easier to change things like batteries. The battery's held in place with this plate here. Now this nut will vary depending on who put it on. These are 13mm. So you need a 13mm spanner and whatever the socket is for that with an extension. When disconnecting the battery, you want to remove the negative first. That way, if somebody drops, say, a wrench on there, it will not complete the circuit and go bang, because the last thing you want is sulfuric acid on you. So let's start by removing the negative. You need a 13mm spanner, and then you just remove the negative first. If you do it the other way around, you could cross the terminals, connect it with, say, a wrench, and then that wouldn't be good. Okay. And then prop that somewhere. But one thing you probably have noticed is both cables on this car are black. Other cars have a red and a black. So always bear in mind that you know which one's the positive and which one's the negative. A good way to tell with the Mercedes that this side is the negative is it's earthed to the car here, so it's on this strut tower here. The shorter this, the better it is for earthing. Let's remove the positive. Okay. Our little securing nut is a 10mm, so we just need to remove that. Okay, going to extend the bar again. I've now got two extensions on here just to reach it. Remove the nut fully and then remove the plate. That's the nut removed. And then just lift this plate. It's a bit of a clean. Could do with giving this a wire brush and a bit of cure rust, but we'll do that on another day. Always remember when carrying batteries to carry them like this. If there is any acid that's leaked out, it will go all over your clothes. This is pretty corroded, so what we need to do is get rid of some of this. So we'll brush out any of the remaining bits of metal and get rid of any foliage as well, because that will just make it a lot easier for it to stay nice and dry down here and prevent corroding. Forest in here. Same way here, what we're going to do is remove the little battery tray, give it a brush off. There's a 10mm nut here and a 10mm nut here, and they both hold the battery tray in. So if we undo these, we can then take the tray out and have a clean up and get under it as well. A bit easier if we remove this. There's the ECU, and that's the OVP that we replaced. Okay. Okay, get a nut out, and then just this one. Okay, and I literally just lift this out. So this needs brushing off. Ideally I could do with another battery tray, but what we'll do is cure rust this one for the time being. So this is what this area looks like now we've removed the battery tray. This is just some of the foliage and rotting metal that we've pulled out of this area a bit. If Annabelle has a quick look in now, you'll see I've got the majority out. I've just got to get the rest out with a brush. But it's nice and solid under there. We've just been off and looked for some cure rust, and in that time frame we now have a flurry of snow, so we're against the clock, so the best bet is to just get it back in. But if you have a quick look in here, you'll see it's nice and clean in there. It's starting to get a bit wet, but there's no corrosion under there. I could do with cure rusting all this area at some point, but we'll get around to that. I've given this a brush off, got rid of any loose corrosion and little bits of metal, and then I'll just refit this. At some point I'll get another battery tray. Make sure the battery tray is seated nicely, and then grab both of the 10mm nuts and just refit them. Now it's time to fit the new battery. It's another Varta, so cloth the caps. We've already removed these, which are the bungs, and they're used for transporting. Make sure both those are removed, that's key. Positive is on the inside, so make sure the plus is here. We've now seated it under the lip at the back, and we're just going to put the plate back on. The plate goes on like this. Okay, just sits there. The best way to do this, I think, because it's quite a fiddle to get in there, is to literally put the nut in the end of the socket and then hold it on to the bottom. Or hopefully you've got a magnetised one. And just tighten up. Okay, nice and tight. Now reconnecting the battery, you do it the opposite way around, so you connect the positive first, then the negative. Make sure that's on nice and tight. In your 13mm spanner, I'm going to hand tighten it first. And then just tighten up. There we go. Now it's time for negative. We get a slight crackle and we're all good. So, plus negative here. I just like to do that. Working with batteries and voltages. Okay. Make sure both terminals are nice and solid. Then reseat this around the ECU and OVP. Yeah, you know me. Pop culture reference, eat your heart out. To drop the bonnet, make sure these are pulled like this, and then the bonnet will come back into its natural opening point, and then you can just shut it. Just make sure before you shut the bonnet that you've got no tools and there's nothing noticeably wrong anywhere. Okay, we're all good. Let's start the car. We've fitted the battery. Let's see what happens. Well, that's a good sign straight away. The interior light's on. Perfect. Time to put her away. Thank you for joining me. And who knows what else we're going to find in the C124 as we move forward. Thank you.